I did. Hold on a second, Brent. All right,
Okay.
Brent. Sorry about that.
Hey, E-Man, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, and you?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Since you pissing off a lot of the Bengals fans there about the unfortunate loss on yesterday, I'm going to continue the pissing going off because I'm going to give you the Royal Rumble recap. What was
Ah.
not seen on TV.
Well, hold on. First, tell me before you tell me what was not seen on TV. First, the atmosphere in the building seemed electric. Just from watching at home, I was like, the crowd is really into it. They wasn't too far ahead on the count. How was it live?
Electric even before the opening match, which I'm surprised they started with the men's Rumble as the first one.
I was
But
shocked
I
about
guess
that.
Well, since Cody was, going to be the victor anyway, I can see, go ahead and get out of the way. We're not surprising anybody type of deal. But, that's one of the things I want to key on is because normally they have, pre-show matches, and they didn't for this one, which was strange. So it's like, okay, we're sitting there, and there was a guy about a few rows back from me who had on a cowboy hat. He literally looked like he could have been Terry Gordy's little boy, back with the Fabulous Freebirds.
Yeah.
That's how this guy looked. But he had LA Knight's routine down perfectly. So much that he started arguing with a group of guys that were dressed like referees. Went down there, and the referee started the 10 count, and once they got to 10, they threw him out, and he slammed down his hat and starts arguing, and everybody that was in that entire section was all into it, and it was hilarious. But there's fans, and then you have fanatics. I try to stay on the fan side of things. So
Yes.
there were a lot of grown men with 2 of the championship belts, and those bad boys are $300 and $400 a piece.
Yeah.
And I told my wife and sons, don't spend that money on no belt that I'm too old to wear out in public. No.
Brent, I'm going to tell you, I used to think about getting one. But, you know what I'm saying, they were cost prohibitive. But I was like, you know what, I'm going to get me one. And then, I grew up. And I was like, what am I going to do with a championship belt? But I do like them. I always want, I might, you know what I'm saying, if I get rich, like really rich, like Wyatt Rich, buy me a belt, have a collection of them and take them around and get them signed or whatever, and so that they end up worth more money. But
right.
when I was younger, I used to always think, I'm going to get me one. And then I was like, but what am I going to do with it? So, yeah.
Exactly. But I wanted to start with just walking up there, the hustle man, the T-shirt hustle man. He was saying, hey, I got my shirts for $20. It's $50 inside. You better get your shirts now. And there's a couple of them. So I was like, hey, I respect the hustle.
Yeah.
And even there, like I said, it was 50,000 plus that made it inside the arena, which was amazing in of itself. And then even before you got there, there was, I don't know if she was homeless. The sign said she was homeless, had a child there, and it was misty there. Just an overcast sky, and she was, she had a lot of forethought that she put into her sign. She had it taped so the rain wouldn't streak the writing on it. So I'm like, oh man, that's taking hustle to a whole nother level.
All right.
So that was crazy there. They had metal detectors. They had everybody take everything out your pockets, go through the metal detectors. Every person that walked through the metal detector went off. Dude standing there at the wand, didn't do nothing. Everybody just kept walking through. So ain't no telling what type of knives and guns actually made it in there. It was crazy how it was. But what else was going on here? Oh, Booker T came out, him and Charmel, as he was walking through, and so that was good to see Booker T. Hadn't seen him since the old Nitro days when I lived in Fort Wayne.
Okay.
The wrestler that got the biggest pop, I don't know if you could tell or not, was L.A. Knight.
Really?
He is over big time. I didn't know. My son know the routine. I watch it casually now, so I can't catch all. But he is over big time, and that whole Lights Out, sponsored by Mountain Dew match.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you, how did you feel about the pitch black match? live.
It was horrible. It was horrible. Because you really couldn't tell what was going on. Yes, you could see the glowing ropes and everything. It was like, but what's really happening? And then it looked like Howdy Doody or whatever the dude's name is committed suicide. You know, I didn't know the whole thing was he was supposed to be hitting the guy with an elbow on the stage that then bursted into flames.
Right.
So is L.A. Knight dead? You know, is Howdy Doody dead? I don't know.
That part didn't make a lot of sense, even though I'll tell you, watching it on TV, again, it wasn't a great match, but it was interesting. Clearly, we could tell probably a lot more than y'all could tell what was going on. So it was maybe a little bit more interesting, but not a whole lot. And when Uncle Howdy jumped off the top, I don't know what that was.
I was like, what? I was like, what just happened? You know, is he okay? You know, legit, is he okay? But the women's Royal Rumble match, man, about half the people went to the bathroom. There are so many people walking around going to the bathroom, and there was a lot of downtime between matches. You know, they had to, for the lights out match, they had to change the ring ropes and the entire ring so everything would show up, and afterwards they had to change it again. So we're like, goodness, you know, so they're showing all these vignettes and everything.
What about when Nia Jax showed back up? Because it seemed like she got a pretty big pop.
People were popping only because it was a botch. Because her music hit even before the countdown started.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, so when she came out there, I don't know if she's back for good because, you know, she was known to hurt them little 95-pound women, but she can't help it. You know, she's a big woman.
Yeah.
So it don't take much to hurt them. So, you know, that was interesting. But yeah, and then Sami Zayn at the end with the whole thing with the head of the table.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever the head of the table came out, everybody threw up the ones. It was looking around there. My son took a couple of videos of it. It was just crazy to see the number of people, you know, holding up the one finger.
Yeah.
And my best man was next to me. He was just sitting there. I'm like, you better put that one up. What you?
Let me tell you,
I
was not a fan of Roman Reigns. Like, I think they botched his whole push a number of times.
Agreed.
So I was like, I'm not a fan of his, but his head of the table, the work that he's been doing with the whole head of the table and Sami Zayn, which, you know, that wasn't supposed to last as long as it did. Yeah. And the work that they've been doing with that, just I'm a fan of his now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because they even brought The Rock in to try to give him that rub.
Yeah.
And that didn't help.
It didn't help at all.
Vince was trying to force him down. Vince was trying to push him as a face. I got to watch what I'm saying. As a good guy, and people are like, no, we want him bad, and now he's able to be who he is.
Yes.
And, you know, just the violence at the end. The only thing they could have did better is that we couldn't hear what he was saying back and forth to Sammy. They should have had mics in the ring, or should have had the, you know, mics so that people in the stands could hear. But that was an epic beatdown. That was the only. I'm surprised they even let it get off to where he hit Roman Reigns with the chair. But because if I would have been one of the writers, I would have had Roman Reigns give him a hug and tell him, you could never be the bloodline. We just use you, and then they beat him down from there. So it's going to be interesting. I may check it out. Actually, well, I know my son will want to watch it, and we're getting freezing rain here, so he'll probably be off tomorrow. So I'll sit there and watch it with him just to get a recap on everything. But yeah, it was enjoyable. I'm glad my wife and son, you know, able to do that for me, and being there with my best man and pulling out the grill and talking crazy like we normally do. And,
yeah. All right,
just like the old times.
Hold on, I got one or two more questions. When Bobby Lashley eliminated Lesnar, did y'all pop for that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because Bobby Lashley forever gets beat up by Lesnar.
Yeah.
Bobby Lashley gets beat up like Lesnar, just like Dusty Rhodes used to get beat up by the Four Horsemen. Which is like, why? Dusty ain't even mentioned Four Horsemen. Dusty talking about four-leaf clovers, and next thing you know, Arn Anderson hitting him over the head. And then Ric Flair is pulling off his $700 alligator shoes, stomping him with it. So it's like, why beat up on Bobby? Hey,
I got to ask you this question. I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt you. I got to ask you this. Where in terms of the ring, you know, where the front of the ring in terms of TV side, where were you at in terms of the ring?
In terms of the ring, you got the hard camera side. We would have been at, what's that one? We'd been at like 2 o'clock. So we had an edge corner of the ring view, so we could see everything. The ramp was straight ahead for us, off to our left, but we could see him running out. But it was on the opposite side of the arena. So,
and then lastly, the Ricochet and Logan Paul, that spot where they jumped off the ring. Did that look as amazing in person as it looked on TV?
Yes. Now that did get a huge pop, because I was like, okay, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? And then they hit the double clothesline and fell out. And Logan Paul is good.
Yeah, he is.
Be that green.
He is. I don't like him because, you know, he's Logan Paul. But, yes, he is good.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see what they come up with that. I'm surprised, disappointed that there was no Rock, but it doesn't look like he's going to be at WrestleMania, so there's no need to bring him out now. But you have to try to interject him into the whole bloodline, because he should be the head of the table, not Roman Reigns.
Right.
There's your angle for WrestleMania 25. Book it. Send me my paycheck.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Brent, I appreciate the update.
All right. You take it easy.
All right. You do the same.
Bye.
All right. That was Brent with the Royal Rumble update. Hey, y'all can hate